This is the Weekend Jazz Update with Yashanti Silva. On this week's show, Kamasi Washington, his biography and best hits. Kamasi is a sax player from Los Angeles. His parents were both musicians, which makes a lot of sense once you hear his stuff, like he just gets music on this deep level. He started out playing sax when he was 13, and from then on, he was locked in. Ended up meeting all these amazing talented kids in college. Thundercat was one of them, and they started jamming together. Eventually, they formed this collective called West Coast Get Down, just a bunch of ridiculously creative musicians pushing each other to go further. Kamasi started showing up everywhere. Like, you know those beautiful floaty sax on Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly? That's him. He's got this sound that just lifts everything. Then in 2015, he dropped this album called The Epic. It's like watching a movie with your ears. Soul, jazz, gospel, hip-hop, it's all in there. And there's other stuff too, like this electronic play that was tied to his sister's art project and this one album that had a hidden disc in the packaging. More details on his biography and best albums coming up. Also coming up, some training festival and album news. And this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Yashanti Silva. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. Stay tuned. And this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Yashanti Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Kamasi Washington, his biography and best hits. During this hour, we're going to be talking about her biography. Born on February 18, 1981 in Los Angeles, Kamasi grew up surrounded by the sound of music. And it wasn't just in the air. The son of music Ricky Washington, Kamasi was raised in a home where jazz wasn't just a genre, it was a language. But here's where the story gets beautiful. At just 13 years old, Kamasi's life changed in a single evening. After a rehearsal at home, his father left a soprano saxophone resting on the piano. That horn, silent, shining, sparkled something. Kamasi, full of curiosity, picked it up, having never played sax before. He closed his eyes and played his favorite tune, Wayne Shorter's Sleeping Down's Asleep On. And in that moment, he found his voice. By 15, Kamasi had already earned the lead tenor sax chair in the prestigious Hamilton High School Jazz Ensemble. At the same time, he joined the multi-school jazz band, reconnecting with his childhood friends who were also deep into their own musical journeys. Names like Ronald and Stephen Bruner, Cameron Graves. They came together to form the Young Jazz Giants, a group that would shape the future of jazz as we know it. After high school, Kamasi earned a full scholarship to UCLA studying ethnomusicology. His ears opened up to the sounds of the world, from Africa to Asia, from ancient rhythms to futuristic sounds. In the summer after his freshman year, the Young Jazz Giants recorded their debut album. By his sophomore year, he was on tour with none other than Snoop Dogg. Jazz and hip-hop collided, and Kamasi was at the heart of it, touring the country with a band full of young jazz phenomenons. That same year, he joined the legendary Gerald Wilson Orchestra, studying under one of his greatest compositional heroes. After graduating, Kamasi hit the international stage with R&B icon Raphael Saadiq. Soon after, he was chosen to represent Gerald Wilson's Los Angeles band on the acclaimed album In My Time. He recorded and performed with McCoy Tyner, Freddie Hubbard, George Duke, Kenny Burrell and more. But he didn't just stop at jazz. Kamasi crossed genres, working with artists like Lauryn Hill, Mos Def, Quincy Jones and Chaka Khan. His versatility became his signature. Out of all this came a new project, The Next Step, a modern big band featuring dual drummers, electric and uptight bass, horns, keys and vocals. It was big, it was bold, it was a vision. And that vision came to life on his groundbreaking 3-disc debut album, The Epic. Released on Flying Lotus Brainfeeder label, The Epic sent shockwaves throughout the music world. Today, Kamasi continues to tour the world, collaborate with other icons, and inspire generations of listeners. So that was some insight into Kamasi Washington's biography, and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Yashanti Silva. And you're tuned into the Weekend Jazz Update with Yashanti Silva. On this week's episode, Kamasi Washington, his biography and best hits. Now it's time for some trending album news. So if you're into live jazz performances, this one's for you. So get this, the Gilmore just released this super dope concert video. It's Brad Meldo, Christian McBride and Marcus Gilmore together, on stage, live. It's now up on YouTube. They recorded it back in April in Kalamazoo. Full crowd, totally sold out, and now we get to watch it like we're there. It's about 80 minutes, all real, raw, beautiful playing. Brad Meldo's a wizard on piano. He blends jazz, classical, even Beatles and Radiohead covers. And then there's Marcus Gilmore on drums, who just happens to be the grandson of Roy Haynes. But he's not writing that name. Marcus is carving his own path and lighting it up. Meldo brings in some original pieces. They mix a few covers and the whole thing just flows. It's soulful, tight and straight up musical. Shout out to the Gilmore for making this whole thing happen. They've been lifting up piano artists forever, commissions, festivals, awards. And now they're stepping into the jazz lane even more, with the new Jazz Artist Award dropping later this year. So that was some trending album news on the Weekend Jazz Update with Yashanti Silva. We'll be right back after a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some of Kamasi Washington's best albums. Stay tuned. And welcome to the Weekend Jazz Update with Yashanti Silva. On this week's episode, we're talking about Kamasi Washington, his biography and best hits. During this hour, a quick insight into some of his best albums. Here's a quick recap of what's coming up. First up, the epic. And yeah, it really is epic. 3 discs, full orchestra, a choir-like, it's massive. But somehow, it's not overwhelming. It flows. It's deep and soulful, but still funky. His sax playing, super sharp and focused. And he brings in influences from everywhere. Jazz history, modern stuff, it's a full journey. And then he drops Heaven and Earth, and this one, it's like 2 sides of Kamasi's brain. One side's the outside world, the other's the inner world. You get everything from intense grooves to straight up spacey dreamy moments. That Fists of Fury cover, yep, it goes hard. Big Curtis Mayfield energy. And if all that sounds a little heavy, no worries, check out Harmony of Difference. It's only 30 minutes, but it's packed. Real tight. It's about finding beauty in contrast. Different melodies, different voices working together. And that final track, Truth, that feels like something else altogether. So that was a quick recap of what we will be talking about during this hour, and you're tuned into the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashanti Silva. And this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashanti Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Kamasi Washington, his biography and best hits. During this hour, we're going to be talking about some of her best albums of all time. The Epic isn't just an album, it's a statement of intent. Released in 2015 on Flying Lotus Brainfeeder label, it's a 3-disc, 3-hour odyssey that feels less like a debut and more like a declaration. Washington was already known for his work on Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, crafted a sonic universe that pays tribute to the past while reshaping the future. Think John Coltrane's mysticism, Miles Davis' fusion experiments, all filtered through Kamasi's maximalistic lens. From the soaring change of the guard to the choral transcendence of Askim, this album isn't just tipping its toes into jazz history, it's diving in headfirst. Strings, choirs, towering horn arrangements and grooves that stretch for miles. It's a love letter to soul jazz, fusion and spiritual exploration. And here's the twist. For all the hype around his hip-hop connections, the Epic is surprisingly hip-hop free. No beats, no bars, but what it does do is widen the getaway, making jazz approachable to a new generation without toning it down. This is jazz as a generational intervention, a sprawling spiritual experience designed to pull you in and lift you up. If the Epic was Washington's mission statement, Heaven and Earth is his State of the Union. With track titles like Fists of Fury, Street Fighter Mars, and The Invisible Youth, Kamasi uses his sax not just as an instrument, but as a megaphone for the moment. From the cinematic sweep of orchestras and choirs to Latin-infused rhythms and heavy funk grooves, the album shifts moods constantly. It never lingers too long in one place, because Kamasi isn't making music for jazz heads, he's crafting soundtracks for a world in motion. And that cover of Fists of Fury, given lyrics, reimagined as a declaration of empowerment. Now if you're looking for a more compact entry point into Kamasi's world, his 2007 electronic play Harmony of Difference is the perfect doorway. Originally created for the Whitney Biennial, this 6-track suite centers around the grand finale, Truth, a piece so moving it was paired with a short film and an art installation. This project explores how seemingly opposing forces, musical or otherwise, can combine into something complex and beautiful. Sonically, you'll hear nods to Coltrane, Grover Washington Jr., even Busby Berkeley-style Hollywood drama, lush horns, meditative grooves, and that ever-present sense of spiritual elevation. Whether it's the floating warmth of desire, the driving energy of humility, or the cloud-like layering in Truth, this electronic play reminds us that jazz can challenge and heal at the same time. Kamasi Washington isn't just making albums. He's crafting movements, creating space for contemplation, confrontation, and community. Whether it's the sweeping saga of the Epic, the fire and fury of Heaven and Earth, or the meditative layering of Harmony of Difference, Kamasi is redefining what jazz means in the 21st century. He's rooted in tradition but reaching towards something bigger, something universal. So that was a bit of insight into some of Kamasi Washington's best albums of all time, and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashanti Silva. And you're tuned into the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashanti Silva. On this week's episode, Kamasi Washington. Now it's time for some trending festival news. If you're around Orange, New Jersey this weekend, let me put you on to something you don't want to miss. Saturday, July 12th, it's all going down at Monty Irvine Orange Park. The 4th annual Jazz, Health and Food Truck Festival is back, and it's gonna be a whole new vibe. We're talking live jazz all day, amazing food trucks and even a community health fair, all in one spot. Now check this lineup, it's stacked. You've got Alex Booney on headlining, then Reagan Whiteside is coming through with that flute fire, Nat Adler Jr. on the keys, and Charissa, the violin diva. She does not play, she brings that electric violin to life like nobody else. Plus, you've got Dave Stryker, the Brooklyners with those island vibes, the James Gibbs Band bringing that Brick City soul, and MPAC, they always bring the energy. And listen, it's not just about the music. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., the Doctors Foundation is running a free health fair. Blood pressure checks, wellness tips, mental health support, the works. All the while a jazz group plays in the background. So yeah, it's gonna be a good day. Bring your lawn chair, bring your people, and come hungry for food and for music. Saturday, July 12th, Monty Irvin, Orange Park. So that was some trending festival news on the Weekend Jazz Update with Yashan Silva. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. When we come back, we're going to be talking about more of Kamasi Washington's best albums.